Hey, okay. Getting rid of the monitor today. Um, yeah, wow, don't even know. Don't have anything prepared. Just quickly turn it on. I'm heading out in a minute and I won't have any more time for the rest of the day. So I thought, hey, I want to get in and do my 10 minutes for the day. And so here I am. What's coming up? What's coming to mind? Um, yeah, I guess I've been working on uh, this thing in Blender, and it's giving me the shits. I'm struggling with it. Um, yeah, I'm just sort of running out of steam with the project that I'm working on. Um, but then I started doing a bit of a woodworking project, the one with the downward facing camera. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have a bit of diversity, and it's truly why I'm wanting to take this path, because I really love the idea of being able to have a diversity of interests and things that I spend my time doing. And yeah, I can think of times in my life where for study or work, I have a project that I get to a point of just being totally sick of it, and I just have to keep on going, keep grinding, and it's so I was going to say demoralizing, but more so soul crushing. The part of you that is like has a spark for certain things is extinguished by being forced against its will. And it is a tricky balance at times, because you certainly don't want to just be jumping from one thing to the next, just out of maybe dissociation. Something gets hard and some feelings come up, and so you go find something else to do. And that somewhat could be the case with what's going on for me right now. And so I think there certainly is a place for me to say, okay, I really want to get this down, and I notice myself wanting to move on to something else because it's hard, and I'm going to stick with it for a bit. And it's my choice. I'm deciding to push myself and challenge myself to stay with something that's hard. Great, right? But it was an Andrew Huberman thing, actually. What's the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, a part of your brain that grows when you choose to do something challenging, when you extend your willpower by choosing to do something that is hard. And the inverse is true, that it shrinks and decays when you avoid doing things that are beyond your comfort zone. And so I found that such a helpful framing, right? And the specific point I wanted to make in relation to the difficult dynamic of being avoidant of difficult things and moving from one task to the next versus sticking with something even when it gets hard. There was it was a study, and it's very symbolic, there's great imagery. Anyway, there's like mice love to run on treadmills, and it said if you set up a treadmill in the middle of a trash dump, you have mice showing up there running on it because they just love running on treadmills. But if you take a mouse and then you hook up a treadmill to a motor or something, and that mouse is now stuck on the treadmill, it will, so in terms, they're measuring the size of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, the mice who choose to run and run to exhaustion and really sort of push themselves, those mice have an enlarging, what is that, anterior mid-cingulate cortex, AMC. And then the mice who were, forced to run against their will did not. And so, yeah, it's truly the case that you have to be willing, you have to choose, you have to do difficult things under your own, power, your own will, for it to have a positive impact, a benefit. And so when you're in a situation where you got to do something really difficult and you got to show up every day, and maybe there's some level of choice there, but I think that's when it becomes soul crushing. That's where that feeling starts to come in, is when, okay, I'm no longer really choosing to do this, and I feel trapped in this situation due to financial, the financial situation that I'm in, and or not wanting to disappoint someone, or whatever, all the sort of reasons that you don't leave a job. And yeah, it can certainly be the case that you go through a period where it's really rough, and then something comes up where you are more willing, you're more interested in the project or whatever. Sure, but I think in the setting of a company, you don't have so much, you're not engaging with these parts of yourself as much, because you're kind of being given tasks, told what to do, and when it gets really hard, you have to keep doing it. And that's where there is like a difficulty, right, with the balance, because I can find what I'm doing right now really difficult and switch to something else for two reasons. One, because it's too hard, I don't want to do it anymore, and I want to escape. And that's kind of when you want to decide, maybe I'll stay with it a little bit longer and grow your AMC. Or you could choose to switch because, my soul is being crushed over here, and I think it's actually going to be really beneficial for me to move over to this other project, cool off on the initial one, get some perspective, feel some level of nourishment of the soul, and then come back and maybe there's a new spark for that project, or maybe the time away gives you the freshness to be able to tackle things again. And so what I'm kind of struggling with at the moment in my project is just, I'm not able to bring in the creative element. I'm really in, one of those things where you're just troubleshooting, okay? I'm having issues with the resolution of the image that I'm trying to animate being too low, and I can't find anywhere online how to change that. And then before that, I was having all sorts of issues with trying to convert an SVG file format into an object in Blender, and I had to move away from that because that wasn't really working how I would like it to. And then before that, it was actually more fun, but I was realizing it wasn't sustainable. I have this big graphic that I made in Excalidraw, and I'm wanting to bring it into Blender to be able to animate the camera, and I was having to recreate the whole thing in by drawing lines in Blender, and it was going to take me forever. And you know, if I'm wanting to make more of these videos, it's just going to be too much work to draw it twice. So not going to work. So yeah, just doing all these things that isn't like creating and having, you know, a creative spark. It's just like trying to figure out how do I make this work. And even problem solving when writing code and stuff can be fun. At least for me, it's creative. But yeah, this is just not hitting those spots for me. And so yeah, I'm starting to feel like I kind of want to move on to something else for a little bit. And that's kind of where I'm at. I think I'm running out of time. I need to head out the door pretty soon, so that's it for today. Yeah. Ooh, battery's about to die.